Welcome to The Non-Writer, where I tell stories from the avant-garde. Today's story takes me to my local live music venue, Winter's Tavern. I interview CJ, the owner and booker, and we talk about the bands and events that are coming up in April of 2023. We talk about some of the bands that I know who play adventurous music, and you'll find some of them in Rick's Picks below and on Substack. And speaking of Substack, you'll find all my stories on Substack, so please subscribe. And if you already subscribe, thanks a lot. For those of you who are not in the Bay Area and can't make it to Winter's Tavern, I would encourage you to check out some of these bands. And wherever you may be, why don't you tell us about your favorite local live music venue in the comments? So get ready for an entertaining conversation that I had with CJ at Winter's Tavern, where we talk about not only the bands that are coming, but some of the local celebrities that have been to Winter's Tavern. Enjoy. Here at Winter's Tavern in Pacifica with CJ, the owner and booker for the last 10 years. We're going to talk about what's coming up at Winter's in April.
At the end of this month, we have the Rock and Roll Flea Market.
Oh yeah, that's an amazing event. You've done it a few times. Lots of fun. Records for sale, clothes, all kinds of rock memorabilia. It takes over the parking lot. Is that right?
Yes.
Will it be inside too? Sometimes you've had it inside.
It'll be indoor, outdoor.
Indoor, outdoor.
We're going to have Satay by the Bay, Malaysian food truck out front. There'll be vendors inside, vendors outside, bands inside and outside.
What day again? What day is that?
It is next Sunday. So this Sunday,
this Sunday.
26th.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this Sunday, right.
So we're still
starts at what time roughly?
10 a.m.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
early.
It's an early start. We don't
get out early if you want to get those rare records. Come out early.
Be here at 10.
I found one here a couple years ago.
Me too.
A Yardbirds thing, playing with Sonny Boy Williams.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fantastic record. I was so excited to find that. So, yeah, it's a fun event.
60s Yardbirds are rocking.
CJ, I see you have kind of an anniversary coming up. It looks like you're kicking off April with that. Can you tell us about your 10th anniversary?
So we have 10 days for 10 years, a decade of hits anniversary celebration. Starting off the Friday, ending on Easter Sunday, locally known as Beaster.
By local, you mean Winter's Tavern known.
Winter's Tavern known.
I think you invented Beaster.
I did. I will take credit for that. Zach, a good buddy of mine and my graphic arts guy, and I came up with this idea, going back to what we were talking about with any excuse to have more live music. That first Easter Sunday was just another thing on the calendar that was a possibility for a party. How do we get more people out to see more live music? And Easter Sunday seemed like something that was worth a shot. So Saturday night, it just happens to be April Fool's Day, and booked, some of my personal friends and, Winter's Tavern friends that have been playing here for 10 years on that day. And it's just really fun to think about all the years and all the bands that we've been hosting here at Winter's. And we've got 10 shows in a row, starting on Friday, ending on the following Sunday. And it's just mixed with so many different styles of music and so many interesting and fun bands.
So you want to tell us about any of these bands that have been with you for a long time now?
Sure. Geez, where do I start? Disastroid. They're kind of a Bay Area favorite. They're kind of like a musician's band.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw Disastroid here, they turned into my favorite local band like instantly. They call themselves a doom band, and they definitely have that doom metal element, but they fall right into the adventurous, somewhat experimental category for me because they use unusual rhythms. The song structure is way outside of the norm. So, yeah, I love Disastroid, and I haven't seen them in a while, so I'm really looking forward to that show.
Yeah, they're great, and they're such cool guys. Like I said, like that's one of those bands where, you know, the other musicians in the bands on the bill, if they hadn't seen them before, they're right up front, and they're just watching every move.
Right.
And they're becoming a Disastroid fan the very first time they see them, you know. And so you hear it time and time again of guys that are in bands in the Bay Area, like, Disastroid, they're the best. And it's just so funny, like, it's this thing where the guys, like, it's this camaraderie Bay Area thing, and they're so rad. I mean, they just slay.
Over the 10 years, you've kind of developed a relationship with other live music bars in the Bay Area, Bender's being one of them. I was also thinking a little bit about the Ivy Room over in the East Bay. You guys have shared some bookings for some of the touring bands.
The cool thing about the Ivy Room is that it's just far enough away.
Right.
So we can have the same band on the same tour, and they can hit the Ivy Room on their way north or south, depending on if they're headed to Seattle or San Diego. They can hit the Ivy Room on Friday, head up to Seattle, come back, you know, a week or two later, and play Winners on a Friday, and the shows aren't really affected.
Sure. Some of these better known or well known bands that tour through the area and play multiple venues, the ones that I remember are like Agent Orange and Mike Watt. What are some of the others?
Big touring bands. We've been lucky enough to have JFA, Guttermouth, Green Jello. My first big band was Green Jello. Of course, it's Green Jelly because they were sued by Jello or cease and desist order.
For those who don't know, the lead singer from Tool kind of got his start in that band.
Yeah,
right?
Maynard was the dude. I mean, that was like his, I think, maybe high school band.
Yeah.
You know, they were all ripping in Green Jello. Then, of course, they had to change it to Green Jelly.
So getting back to the 10 shows for the 10th anniversary, we have Disastroid playing early in that series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that on
Saturday night,
Saturday
April
night?
Fools.
All right.
With Wet Meadow and Drown the Rat from Santa Cruz.
All right.
It's killer bands. All three incredible.
Are they all metal type bands?
They're all heavy. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. They're all over the place, but
So we like heavy.
yeah.
And then after that is a band that I'm very familiar with called the Third Thursday Band. They're part of this 10th anniversary.
They are.
So Third Thursday is one of these cover bands that we were talking about earlier, but they are kind of unusual cover band in that they cover Frank Zappa, Captain Beefheart, and the more out there rock that you're going to hear. So what is your relationship with the Third Thursday Band?
Well, they've been a San Francisco staple for decades now. They have a residency at the Saloon, which is the oldest bar in San Francisco.
North Beach?
Yeah, and what a killer joint that is. One of my favorites.
And they have such a party atmosphere with their performance. So
they're so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all really cool guys, and it's a rotating cast of characters, you know.
Right.
And so you never know who's really going to be playing in the Third Thursday band.
Always excellent musicians, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many musicians from so many different genres have played in that band off and on over the years. I'll give you an example. One of my favorite Bay Area punk bands from the 80s, Victims Family.
Oh, yeah.
Larry Boothroyd, the bass player, was Third Thursday band's original drummer. In a fun twist, his new cover band is playing that night with Third Thursday band.
Oh.
And Inner Child Protective Services or something.
Something like that.
That's it. Inner Child Protective Services. How cool is that? That will bring me to our connection with Steve McKay.
Right.
And he would play brass in that band.
And again, for those who don't know, Steve McKay was the sax player for Iggy and the Stooges. And he was also a resident of Pacifica.
He was. We were so,
In fact, you have his sax case hanging from the rafters here.
Yeah, we owe a lot to Steve McKay. Rest in peace, my friend.
Yes.
And what a humble, interesting, kind human being. Here's this legend who would roll in and, sign up on the list for open mic, and you either knew who he was or you didn't.
Right.
And the people that did were like, jaw drop.
Yeah.
What is he doing here? He's our neighbor. And it's just so cool.
In the case of Steve McKay, I think I may have first seen him here with the Third Thursday band, probably.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dingle is the front man.
Yeah, this is Mike Dingle we're talking about, and he goes way back. This is something that I don't think you know about my relationship with Mike Dingle. I first met him in the 80s in San Francisco. He was working with the Machine Performance Art Group Survival Research Labs, and I was a huge fan, and I'm also a tech geek, and I introduced myself to Survival Research Labs offering my services. Ended up working with Survival Research Labs and Mike Dingle and Mark Pauline and that whole crew for a few years, doing shows in New York and all over the place with these giant 2-ton machines threatening to crush the audience at any moment, being controlled by my little microprocessor.
How cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah.
You gotta love Mike Dingle.
Yep. Well, there's another band that I also first saw here. The band is called The Hajj. Tell us about The Hajj.
The Hajj. The Hajj is a 2-piece. And
brothers or cousins? Something like
I believe they're brothers. And they are from the island of Cyprus in the Mediterranean.
Uh-huh.
And they are just a couple of cool cats who play some pretty heavy rock. And
they are very heavy. I mean, they really blew me away the first time I saw them. You watch them set up, and it's just a 2-piece, and you're thinking, what can a 2-piece do? And right from the get-go, it's like they blow the doors off the place. So.
Yeah, they're great. They're really good.
So how is it that they end up doing 4 dates in April?
Well, this is something that we've actually tried to avoid. We had the benefit of accommodating so many bands that limits the amount of bands that we can have.
Sure.
And so I don't like to be limited in that way, because I like to be able to have the opportunity to host bands from all over the world and if I fill all the holes, there's no holes for them to fit.
You're getting bands from pretty much all genres. I don't think you really have a genre booking policy, do you?
No, not at all. In fact, we're kind of opposite of that. There's only, I don't think there isn't a style of music we haven't had in 10 years. We kind of consider ourselves to be an independent, original music venue. That's the thing that kind of sets us apart. The fun part about being Winter's Tavern is that we are just a roadhouse with a stage, and there are all these wonderful venues that exist in our region, and so accidents happen and things happen, and so we can get a call a week in advance or 2 days in advance. Hey man, the show at such and such, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, fell through for this particular reason.
Right.
This promoter had it out with this thing and the blah blah blah. Now we've got this open date and we can't, we're ready to go. We got to fill a hole. And so, hey man, let me see what I can do. And I quick get a hold of the rest of the bands on the bill, if there is a bill in place, or if it's an open mic, call the host. Hey, Bobby's amazing, by the way. Bobby does the open mic every week. Captain Bob, hey man, I got this band, this crazy electric band from Japan. We wouldn't be able to get them.
Yeah.
But now we got them. If we can do it, please take the night off or incorporate them into your show.
Uh-huh.
What do you want to do? And so it's just fun to be able to do that and to have the ability to do that and have it just be that simple. It doesn't need to be so prepared for. It doesn't need to be advertised and organized and set in stone. It's just something that happened organically, and we're just going to roll with it. And then you get this random band that would have never been here, and they have a ball playing at this little spot because that's what we do.
That's right.
And we treat them like human beings and like artists, and we enjoy their sound and we enjoy their existence and we love what they do, and that translates to them having a better time. And then this is just such a weird place anyway. Here we are in this 110-year-old redwood building, a block from the water. It's like, wow, we're in another world right now. We're here at Winters, and that's really what it's all about.
Yes. And it's great that you can accommodate bands like that, and sometimes on short notice. And I know that in the case of the Hajj, they're not even a local band. They're from Southern California,
Yeah.
I think, or they're based in Southern California. It seems like they're from the world. They travel all over there. They're actually from Cyprus, I think you said at the beginning. So how do they get this residency here at Winter's Tavern?
They've played here several times over the years, and they're cool cats.
Right.
And they're trying to hit Northern California. And so we just kind of did a few, here and there with them and their routing, trying to figure out, where they can play and when.
Right.
And I just, try to incorporate them into my April. And it just so happens
I think they're even doing a matinee on one show.
They are.
I'd love to see them outside, but I don't know if the neighbors are going to put up with that.
No, they're definitely way too loud for outside. And who knows what acoustic Hajj would be.
Oh, yeah. Now, there's an idea. Since they're doing the residency, the acoustic Hajj would be something to see.
Yeah, a ukulele and a bongo.
They could pull it off, I think.
Yeah, I know they could.
Yeah. All right.
So we've got Pumpkin Pacifica is the 15th. So the Pumpkin Pacifica festival is something that we've been doing for several years now. And DJ Test spins, 80s punk vinyl. And he is thick in that scene and knows all the punk bands in the Bay Area, and it's just kind of like a Bay Area punk party here on the beach, and we do indoor outdoor as well.
And that's a day-long thing too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all day, all night.
And I can tell people there's a chance, you never know who you'll meet at these things. At one of these events, I ran into Jello Biafra here at the bar, and he was a super nice guy. Really great to talk to him.
Yeah, Jello has been very good to us. The first time he came to a show was for a heavy band called Owl. Owl played in 2013, and they're incredible. I was at an interview in Jello's home for a documentary called Records Collecting Dust.
Oh.
And that's the first time I'd ever met Jello. And so I was just kind of a part of the crew for that film crew.
Is that
in
out?
that documentary. It came out in 13.
Okay.
And during the interview, he was asked one of the questions is, do you still shop locally for music? Where do you go? What do you look for? And so Jello is flipping through, and he's just got one of the most incredible music collections I've ever seen. He's got rooms full of vinyl. He had pulled out just a small collection of things he'd found recently to answer the question. And so he's flipping through and he's like, this band I've never even heard of, but I just like the way the album looked, and it was really interesting, and I can't remember the record label now, but he knew the label, and someone had mentioned that they were strong and a band to see. And so I was so excited at that moment, being the helper. I wasn't supposed to be speaking or involved in the interview at all, in fact.
Right.
So I'm off to the side waiting for my chance.
Sure.
And as soon as I got the chance, I'm like, Jello, that band Owl, who you just described, is playing at my place next month. Wouldn't you like to come? I would love to have you, And
Right.
he's like, get in touch with my secretary, It was classic. And so sure enough, I got a hold of him and, did the thing, and he showed up. He drove himself out here, in his old Valiant. He's got a killer old Plymouth Valiant. And so he rolls up and as, Jello is Jello, CJ here. And it was like, it was such a defining moment for me.
Sure.
Because, all of these years, I would be the guy to answer the question, where is so-and-so? Mm-hmm. He's not here. But I know who you are, and you're not looking for me, but I can help you. So it's just like, I've always been that guy, So I'm working at a venue, and they don't know who the fuck I am, but they're looking for such and such. And so for Jello to walk through the door and go, is CJ here? Was like, yes.
Great.
Fuck yeah, I'm right here, man.
Right.
What can I do for you? Welcome, and he likes hoppy beer, so I poured him an IPA, and we sat by the jukebox, and we talked about music, and, we're waiting for Owl to play, and he showed up, and he's at the show, and everyone's, like, Jello. That's Jello.
That's, again, a tribute to what you've done here at Winter's Tavern, because people like Jello Biafra recognize what a cool bar this is, and they want to play here, even though it's a small place. They want to be here. They want to have the bands that they know play here.
Yeah.
I mean, he brought Itch.io. I think he guested with Mike Watt, right?
Oh, so he's been here so many times.
Yeah.
And, of course, every punk band asks him to sing a song.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And depending on his mood, we'll get him to be a part of the show.
Sure.
I mean, he's been on stage with, Agent Orange, Mike Watt.
Right.
He's an interesting guy.
Yep.
He really is, and he's done so much for music, and as he continues to do, because he is so respected and recognized,
and because he loves it. He loves music.
It. Nobody loves it more than he does.
Yeah.
He just drips music.
Yep. We're talking about Punk Rock April 15th, Punk Rock Festival Day here at Winters. You never know who you'll run into.
You never know.
Your calendar will be coming out when?
Yeah. Oh, soon. Yeah, should be ready by the end of the month. Yeah, the most up to date is the Facebook events for the bar page itself, Winter's Tavern. Our website is also fed information by those events on Facebook. The calendar, as I'm sure you can imagine, is kind of like the best we can do. And as we described with the changing of the tides, things do happen, and so we go to print on the monthly calendar usually about a week or so before the end of the month, and sometimes even by the time I've printed it, there's a couple of mistakes because a band has changed routing and they're not coming till the following month, or the bass player moved to Japan and
right.
that band is no more.
Right.
So all these kinds of things happen all the time, but we try our best. So yes, the website and Facebook have all the events. I try to stay on top of the Instagram, which is where the kids are.
Right.
I've even considered trying to figure out TikTok, but I'm still a little intimidated.
Another place where we'll be able to find out about shows at Winter's Tavern is here on the Non-Writer. All right, CJ, thanks a lot for letting us know what's going on at Winter's Tavern in Pacifica in April. And hopefully we can make this a regular monthly thing.
Let's do that.
All right.
Go see some shows.
Yeah.